Hello and welcome to Bitcoin Smart Money. Today is September 15th, 2017. It's a little after 10 a.m. here on the East Coast, and it's a little later than I usually update. Just been doing a lot of buying this morning, so I wanted to update everybody with what was going on. We've had a lot of news coming out of China about exchanges closing, and I want people to realize that once this FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt with China is gone, that countries and people are going to start buying back. There's a lot of fear that's spread, and when that spreads, a lot of the newer investors or newer people into cryptocurrency sell, and you can see a lot of the charts that I've gone through. When there's been sell-offs, it's not been large selling pressure on a lot of coins, and what that tells me is that it's weak hands, it's shorter term players. It's not large money that's selling crypto. It's more individual instead of institutional, or whales, let's call them, because the institutional money has not fully arrived. So I want people to realize that the Americas, India, Brazil, Russia, they're only accelerating and joining the crypto world. So when we've got discounts like Bitcoin from 5,000 to 3,300, we're moving fastly. Started doing some research this morning at 3,000, so it was over a 35% discount on the future price of Bitcoin. You've got to tell yourself or ask yourself, hey, if I keep that $1,000 or 500, depending on what you have, or some people that have saved for a long time, you have 10,000 in savings. Are you going to be happy making 1.2% in a savings account, or do you think that there's some risk reward benefit by having some Bitcoin in the first digital asset which you cannot replicate? So for me, I've always thought that taking the risk reward as a millennial was more important, as well as diversifying for the older population, whether it's Generation Y, baby boomer, 1.2% on savings versus Bitcoin's growth. To me, I look back and I look at it from a macro point of view instead of going through the BS that's happening on a daily or weekly basis, and I say Bitcoin's up almost 500%. We're up 485% over the last year. So, by the way, this past drop over the past 12, 13 days of a correction of 35%, from the high of just about 5,000 down to the low. It's not even the largest drop that we've had all year. Let's go over here. We can see the major corrections from September 2010 to September 2017. You can see, just this year we had a larger decline when we had that hammer pattern at 1837. So it took 55 days for it to recover. You're just not going to find that in any other market. Yes, the volatility is there in Bitcoin and crypto. However, it's upward mobility and volatility. And that's something that I think is important. I've read articles about, we'll go over here to a tweet that happened earlier this morning about how the PBOC and the Chinese government, how the control that they try to implement on their people. I've read that the president's preparing for his October 18th re-election, and they want to appeal to the communist voting bloc. And by showing that type of power and control, maybe that's exactly what they want to do in China. However, you can see as times move forward, the control that they try to implement, it doesn't have as much effect on the price drop in Bitcoin. And I think that's real important to know. So you can go to the crypto Reddit for this. Bitcoin is just furiously moving here. Let's check it out on an hourly chart. You can just see, at 3,000, RSI completely oversold. We've got major buyback happening here. And maybe we're going to bounce around this 3,300 range, or we'll come back into the fours where we're going to trade for a little bit. But let's go back to the macro point of view, 500%. And, with the finite money supply of, there's only 16.5 million coins. The last 5 million will take another 100 plus years to generate. You can see that the supply isn't going to be there. Demand is growing. The price is only going to be, from a macro point of view, continue to grow. So the cryptocurrency market cap, you can see here, I'm about to hit refresh. You're going to see that explode over 100 billion. I saw it at about 93, 94 billion this morning. Let's hit refresh. Look, we're at 120 billion. Just in a couple hours, we've gained 20 billion in market cap. So you cannot be a day trader here in crypto unless you've got an algo or you've got some type of inside info. I think you've got to be able to buy quality coins and move forward holding those coins, just like we talked about UBIC and NEO, mostly NEO since June. However, NEO does have some great support here, and the technology still hasn't changed. Just the news and control from China has changed. And the CEO of NEO does have good relations with the Chinese government. So I think long term, once things get ironed out, once they agree to things, you're going to see NEO, fully extend back into its all-time highs. It might take a little bit of time. UBIC traded at almost $3 a coin. It's down to $1.11, $1.15. So the inverted head and shoulders didn't come through like we talked about last Friday. However, the selling pressure, you can see this is all selling. This is a different selling oscillator that I've implemented. It's just not there. So people aren't willing to sell UBIC even though it has declined. And the technology behind it, if you read the white paper, if you read what it has to offer under the Ethereum platform, you'll see that it has a lot more positive than risk. ETH Classic below 10, I like it a lot. It's a coin that we swung trade nicely for a 33% profit. We're looking at here on 8-hour bars. You can see it's extremely oversold. It's where I picked up a little bit more this morning at the 29 range. And I think if you're going to buy and hold a coin, ETH Classic is going to offer you a potential 100% return in 12 months or less. And it's not easy to make 100% on your money. SYS is another coin I really like a lot. The technology and the roadmap that the coin's offering, I think it's got a lot of potential. I bought some here this morning at this 44-45 range, and I think it's just got a lot to offer. You can see, it's got upward pattern. It's in the buy phase. You've got a lot more buy bars than you do red sell pressure, and it's even oversold here at 49. Had an all-time high of 85. You're buying it at almost a 44% discount. So I like that. Bitshares also, it's just, I like to see coins that have dropped, from 153 down to 22. I think there's some value, and then the technology behind Bitshares, it is interesting to me as well. Not as much of a fanboy on Bitshares, but I think there could be some money to be made. It was down as much as 25% this morning. I was buying some in the 19 range, probably going to swing trade it. But I'm also going to let the chart tell me what to do. These are 12-hour bars. Let's look at it. From a 240, which gives us a little bit better time frame. We can see if you've got more buyback, not a lot of sell pressure on the move down. So you've got a lot of individual buyers, in my opinion, that are selling Bitshares. And even on a shorter time frame, we're oversold on the RSI. Like to check things out on the 480 though, and you can just see, we might have a hammer pattern here, and this could have hammered out the low. But I'm giving Bitshares a chance, and I think that it's got some stuff to offer. The last thing I wanted to show you guys was this walletgenerator.net, and Pinkcoin's one that I own a little bit of, just from a while back. But let's go back to how it really works, because it already generated a wallet. So essentially, you can go here, you move your mouse around, type characters in the box, and it creates entropy. This is a Bitcoin wallet. But say you own, let's go down to like a privacy coin like Pivx. You click the coin that you have, you can see all the choices here. There's tons of different choices. There's a lot of coins that are smaller cap, which sometimes they're harder to protect if you want to long-term hold them. So you go down there, you select your coin. Right now we have Pivx, and we'll generate wallet by using entropy of the mouse. And you do that, and once you generate that, it creates your public-private key. You can withdraw it from an exchange, and I just think there's some good resource here at walletgenerator.net. Anyways, that's all we've got for the show. We've got some trading to do. We can see Bitcoin moving here nicely to end the show. It is 10:22 on the East Coast, and you can find me at bitcoinsmartmoney.com, and you can find my tweets and follow me at BTC Smart Money. Thanks, and have a great weekend.